Sir, the purpose of this gathering confuses me.
Oh, how so?
My thoughts are not for Tasha, but for myself. I keep thinking how empty it will be without her presence. Did I miss the point?
No, you didn't, Data. You got it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Fully Functional, a TNG podcast. I'm Maggie, joined by Jeff and Dory.
Yo.
We're on an adventure together through Star Trek The Next Generation, episode by episode, taking Dory through her first experience with the show. Today, we're talking about a very significant episode of the first season called Skin of Evil. Original air date, April 23rd, 1988. And we'll go to Dory for the recap.
Okay.
All right.
So-
Shit, let's get through this.
Well, full disclosure, I cried for like 20 minutes after I finished
Oh,
this episode.
muffin. Oh, cupcake.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in bad shape after this one, too.
I was wrong on 1,000 levels of my prediction, and I wish I was right because I didn't want this. Anyways, okay. So recap. So I don't even know how to. I don't even want to start this. I want to pretend this didn't happen. Okay. So, the beginning of the episode, Yar and Worf are like, he's like, "Are you ready for the martial arts competition?" And she's like, "Yeah, but you need to like help train me for like a couple other things." And he's like, "Oh yeah, you'll win. You're like, everybody will bet on you, whatever." And she's like, "You bet on me?" He's like, "Yeah." And I was like, And she like stares at him for a really long time.
Yeah, like really long.
To the point where I was like, is the significant thing going to be like Worf and Yar hooking up? Is that what's going to happen? Is that the significant difference? And then I was like, as it was happening, I was like, what is it going to be? Somebody going to get married? I don't know. I had a million different theories at the beginning, and man, yeah. Oh boy. Okay. So meanwhile, there's a shuttle with Troy coming in, and it gets, I don't know, there's some kind of issue with it, and it crashes on a planet called Vaga 2. Vega 2? Vaga 2?
Varga.
Whatever. Varga? Oh my god, I spelt it wrong in my notes. Oh, fuck. Okay, Varga 2. And sorry, this episode like messed me up.
That's okay.
I'm so this okay. So oh yeah, there's also some kind of it's not even important at this point to be like all this shit at the beginning with the other engineer guy, Leland T. Lynch. It doesn't matter.
Why did he announce himself so prominently?
I don't know.
Because this is like our 5th chief engineer.
Yeah, what happened to Logan? What the fuck happened to Mr. Logan?
Oh, he's gone
Go
now.
Fuck yourself, Mr. Logan. So, yeah, they rush to like find the shuttle. It's landed on Varga 2, and they can't really like beam anybody up. There's too much like shit on top of the shuttle. So the away team and Dr. Crusher go beam down to the planet, in which they meet the grossest blob of tar or something I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That just like moves back and forth and won't let them go over to the shuttle, which I just kept thinking, like, why don't you guys like split up? Why don't you guys all run at once in different locations? And like, because they all kept moving together. Anyways, it's beside the point. So it turns out this big blobby thing, his name is Armus, and he is so fucking scary. I did not like him. He was so scary. And he's like the shape of I think it's Grimace from McDonald's.
That is definitely not the thought that I had, but you know,
he's like
you
the
do
purple
you.
guy, right? I think that's what Grimace looks like.
That's
And
what
to
he
me,
looks like. Yep.
to me, he looked like the outline of Grimace. Like if Grimace jumped in tar. And so, yeah, he's like, I don't know. He's a sociopath, Armus. He makes no sense. He's angry. He got left behind by some people, and he's like, if I'm not happy, nobody's going to be happy. Or he's just angry. I don't know. I didn't care about his motivations. I was so mad and so upset. Like, fuck Argus. No, not Argus. Armus. Whatever. Go fuck yourself. I hate him. Rot alone on a planet by yourself, you piece of shit. And so, yeah, Yar tries to go forward, or she's like talking to, I don't remember. I've blocked half of this stuff out of my head.
Oh, jeez.
I'm really unhappy with how this went. And he like throws her, and she goes full, like hits her, and she goes flying, and they're on the ground, and Crusher's like, she's dead, and I'm like, no, she's not. No, what the fuck?
Yeah,
No.
she'll be back.
Yeah.
And then they put her into that machine. They all beam back up to the ship, and they put her on that machine where they like fry her brain, or I don't know what it's like the brain version of, like, you know, what's the thing called? I forget what it's called. Where they
Defibrillator.
Yeah.
Yes, defibrillator. Yeah, but for your brain.
Yeah.
I guess that was their version.
Yeah, they do that in Star Trek a lot, where it's just the zap, 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 because that's all you can really, like,
Yeah.
It's not actually used in hospitals all that often, apparently, but it's definitely used on TV a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they do that, and then at that point I'm just like watching, and I'm like, could the thing be like that thing on Tasha's face? Is that the thing that's changed forever? She just has like a huge mark on her face. But no, she's like dead for reals. Like,
Yeah.
She's fully dead.
and I was like, what the fuck? No. What? Like, I didn't, when it happened, I was like, no. What, they're going to figure out a way to like bring her back. Like, I didn't accept it
Yeah.
at that point. And so then, oh yeah, and like Troy's just hanging out in the ship. She's like talking to Armus. Ugh, fuck Armus. I don't.
Yeah, what a piece of shit, right?
And
Yeah.
yeah, I'm so lots of feelings. I think people could tell.
Yeah.
So yeah, they realize that like when Armus talks to Troy, or like when he's vulnerable, then like they can beam shit up. And so oh my god, I forgot, Armus like totally eats Riker.
Yeah.
So he like pulls Riker into the stream of goo, black goo. And then he pushes his face up with his mouth open. And you know what he looked like? He looked like, you remember in The Mummy when the mummy's like face goes on like the sand?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
That's what this reminded me of. Riker did the mummy sand face.
Except it wasn't bad CGI.
Yes. No, you know what? I stand by that CGI. For the year 1999, it's an accomplishment.
Yeah. it
Anyways.
is.
I was thinking more of Han Solo in the Carbonite.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So yeah, Riker is now like basically a hostage in the goo. So Picard comes down, and Troy is pleading with Armus, and for a second I was like, oh, is there going to be character development here when she's like offers herself in place of Riker? But
Nice.
nope, it's going to be she'll sacrifice herself for anybody, not Riker. And I was like, oh cool, we almost got character development, but nope, just kidding. So Picard talks to it. I don't know, he's able to then talk to Troy. Sorry, I'm missing a lot of things because I'm just so
It's okay.
distracted by what happened in this
We'll
episode.
get into it in the discussion, don't worry.
Yeah, and yeah, so Picard's able to like distract. Oh yeah, sorry. The Armus like spits out Riker, and everybody else goes back up to, except for like Troy, but like the rest of the away team goes back up. Oh yeah, they also control Data. Ugh, I can't.
There's a lot that happens.
Yeah. There's
And
a lot. While you're dealing with a lot.
yeah, so yeah, Picard's able to like distract him and get him to be vulnerable, so the team, so his like will drop the force field or whatever, and so they can then transport Picard and Troy up. And The funeral is what got me.
Yeah.
It
gets me every time.
So then they go to the brightest room in the entire fucking world with like the fakest sky, fake grass, I don't know, but I was like, I don't care.
Well, it's the holodeck.
Yeah. Wait, so did they bury her in the holodeck?
No.
Where did her body go?
It probably shot out into space. That's usually what they do with funerals in Star Trek.
Oh, I hate that. The idea of somebody's body just floating around. That happened in something else I watched. Oh, yeah, I know what it was. It was this show on HBO where they're in like this planet and they shot this dead body out and then no, they're not on a planet. They're on like this ship and they shot the dead body out and it like hits this big window. So all these people see a body just on the window. It was wild. Anyways, so the gang is gathered and that hologram destroyed me. So
yeah.
Hologram Yar pops up and gives like an individual like shout out to everybody, and I just was like sobbing. It's like, no, this is what made it real, and like I'm gonna start crying again in a second. I cannot believe they did this.
Yeah.
What did she want to leave? Like, why did this happen?
The actress wanted to leave.
Oh.
Yeah.
I hate that she died, though. I wish that, like, maybe she was assigned somewhere else or something. I would have liked the idea of just Yar being out there doing whatever, living her best badass life. But in this, it's like, nope. All she's, like, struggled with growing up in a really shitty situation. She made it to Starfleet. Head of security, badass bitch. She also recently told Wesley, don't do drugs. And then she dies, and I'm like, I hate it. I hate it so much.
Yeah.
And I'm so bummed, and I'm not happy about it.
I'm sure Jeff can tell us more about the behind the scenes stuff.
Oh, you're inviting it this time. Excellent. Okay, well.
Yeah.
Well, of course, we always want it.
Yeah, okay, fair. That's what she said. So, anyway, the background to this is a little complicated because they all knew that Tasha Yar was going, and that was a decision from Denise Crosby. She wasn't really interested in doing the series anymore. She had found that by this point in, which, I mean, they've been shooting for, I don't know, 7 months, 8 months, she wasn't, like, it wasn't doing it for her. And she's like, look, I don't feel like my character is really being utilized. I'm not getting these moments that some of these other characters are, and you guys don't really seem that interested in exploring my character, so I'd kind of like an amicable split. And they said, sure, cool, that's fine. So we'll arrange that. The previous episode was actually the last one that she shot. This one was shot before that. I showed you the tiny little scene at the end of the episode where she's waving goodbye to the camera. That's the last scene that she ever shot. So the behind-the-scene part of that, because Denise Crosby widely publicized that that's why she left the series, the backstory part of that is that Gene Roddenberry decided, well, I kind of want, if we're going to write her out, I kind of want her to just go as a matter of circumstance and not to dwell on it too much and just kind of let it happen in the name of, like, normal stuff. Don't over-dramatize it, all that. Just let it happen. Apparently, the lawyer was super big on trying to push that to the point where he was finding the script as it was being passed around the office and adding his own notes to it. So, yeah, good times there.
God. Oh yeah, I forgot about that lawyer asshole.
Yeah, well, he's almost done, luckily. I don't think he's there in the second season. But anyway, so, yeah, that's Leonard Maislish was his name.
Right.
Anyway, so the writers, especially Maurice Hurley, wanted her to have, like, a more focused, like, goodbye episode. And in the end, Gene Roddenberry had a little bit more pull, and he got what he wanted out of it. So they got her very anticlimactic death.
Yeah.
Which is something that none of the writers were happy about in the end. But they just kind of had to run with it due to a matter of business, and that really sucked. And for Maggie, you're quite aware of this, and I'm not going to go into why, but Denise Crosby was very regretful of leaving the show afterwards. The reason that she left officially was she wanted to try to pursue a film career, and that didn't really pan out. And obviously, not too long later, the series let go of its training wheels and began to really take off without her, and she was pretty upset by that.
Yeah, she kind of dipped out at exactly the wrong time.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, pretty much. So she got screwed there. Though this is the first permanent Trek death that has happened. Yeah. Notwithstanding what happened in Wrath of Khan, but that's a little bit different since they brought him back in the next movie.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, what probably stands out more in the episode than Tasha being killed is the fucking effects. Because holy shit, Armus is really alien and really terrifying. Yeah. Like, he's excruciatingly well designed.
Every time he rises out of there.
Yeah, I thought he was
Every single time he rises out of the goo, I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, go back in.
Yeah. There's nothing about his effects that has not aged well. It still looks great, and it still looks creepy, especially considering the budget that they had.
Although, did they maybe they cleaned it up in the remaster, though?
No. Okay, so the him moving around stuff, like the goo pile moving around, that's obviously fake and not amazingly well done. But the him like rising up and down and reacting to them and all of that is 100% practical effects, and it's not cleaned up. It looked this good before too.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah. So it is super impressive.
The thing is like, I don't hate the idea of someone's death being like so matter of fact. Like, it's not like a long drawn out scene, it's just like a sudden thing that happens and you don't really get a chance to process it. Like, you're not lying on the ground being like, tell my wife I love her. that kind of shit. I actually really appreciate like just sudden quick deaths. But
that's fair.
The way they did it was awful.
Yeah, it is entirely senseless, and they even come out and say it's senseless.
Yeah. And it's such like a nothing episode too. It's I don't know, it just doesn't have the gravity it should.
You know what's really ironic about that whole moment? Mm-hmm. What Denise Crosby went on record saying afterwards is if she had got more scenes like the one at the beginning between her and Worf, she probably wouldn't have wanted to leave.
Yeah.
But
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So they give her that scene in the episode she's leaving. Great.
Yeah. That's just like they give you a little extra nugget so that you care when she dies.
Yeah, have a bone.
Yeah. Dory, when did it sink in for you that she was like actually dead and wasn't gonna come back?
Oh, the funeral.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. So you still had hope, like up until the end.
So once she they were like, oh, she's dead, and then just kind of like carried on to the next thing. I stopped thinking about it for a bit because I was like, they've got the technology. I'm sure they'll figure something out. And no, it wasn't until the funeral when everybody showed up and then it was the hologram, and I was like, oh shit, no, that's like, she's like dead for real, like dead, like rip dead.
Yeah.
And it was really heartbreaking, honestly, for like, I really liked Yar, and also like now they've got one less woman, so I mean, I don't want spoilers, but like I hope there's like another woman who comes in the show, because otherwise it's like we've got Dr. C, who's great, and Troy, who appears in like every 5 episodes. But like with Yar, I loved that she was the head of security, and she was like a bomb hot ass woman, and like she was so cool, and it just sucks that her death, like the doing it quick is not an issue. It just feels like, what was the point? Like she should have had a better death, to be honest. Like it should have been more heroic. It should have been something. This feels just shitty. This feels almost like an afterthought. Like, oh, and it also was at the beginning of the episode. So just like shit just carried on afterwards. And everybody was like, okay, well, let's not think about Yar's death right now. We have to go do other stuff. And it just, I don't know. There's something that like minimized it throughout the episode until the funeral.
Yeah, that's the thing that bothers me. And I totally understand that in reality that is something that you'd have to do. It's like we we're gonna have to put off grieving because we have some serious shit we still have to deal with.
Yeah.
You know? But it would have
Yes.
been nice if they explored at least the rest of the crew having difficulty doing that.
Yeah.
Like they have the one scene in the boardroom, you know,
Where they're angry, but there's basically no reaction to her dying. Like nobody freaking cries except for Troy. Like they're at the end of the episode when they're doing all the close-ups on Picard after when she's doing her speech about him, I'm sobbing and I'm like, bitch, where's your tears? Like I can see that he's like his eyes are like getting teary, but like not one teardrop. I was expecting like one drop from Patrick Stewart, and I'm like, I didn't even know her. I didn't even know this woman, and I'm like, and you don't do, and you're just
and
like,
she just called you like her father.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
It sucks. I hate, like, I'm not opposed to killing off characters, but it needs to be worth it.
Yeah, it's kind of universally acknowledged that that they did Tasha Yar dirty in this episode. That they did not give her a good
It's
death.
also what kills me with like fantasy and sci-fi shows like this is that like you don't have to think about reality, how would you do in reality. You're doing a fucking fantasy or a sci-fi. You can make the death whatever the fuck you want. Make it fucking epic. Don't do it like, oh, it's like, I don't know. I think I'm also still sour over like a show from the summertime that killed off one of my favorite characters for like the stupidest fucking reason, and you have the ability to decide how this person goes. This is a fiction show where you can just pick it any fucking way, and you pick this. It's super disappointing because knowing that you have the power to create this and this is what you went with, like it's a letdown to people who are fans. I think it's just like a letdown in general because it also. Would they have done this for any of the male characters? No, probably not. Would they have killed off Data this way? No, absolutely not.
No, definitely
no,
not.
definitely.
Like what? But like Tasha, like peace, like peace out, whatever.
They might have done this to War for Geordi.
Which is also not better.
I think it
might
has
have.
to do with how main of a character she
It's
is.
also like it's not better that like Warford Shorty.
Yeah, those are like the two black guys.
Oh, whoops.
It's just
Yep.
it's
Yeah. I don't know if this will make you feel better. No spoilers, but her death does have significant consequences down the line.
good because
Yes.
they're
Yeah. It won't show up for a bit, but it does.
good. They changed the
we can't tell
Enterprise
you.
name to like the Yar Memorial Ship. I'm just
The USS Yarter Prize.
no.
Yeah, the only thing that makes me feel better slightly is that Denise Crosby's the one who wanted to leave.
Yeah, I guess
Yes.
so. It's just an awful ending.
Yeah, and unfortunately we don't get an additional woman.
No,
Yeah.
we do not. This is the cast going forward for the most part. There's other things that happen with the cast, but this is mostly what it is going forward. They change direction for how they work with them a little bit and for how they focus on them. But yeah, there's no replacement character. I'm
That's a
sorry.
bummer.
Yeah. I know, it sucks, and especially rewatching the series, I am really sad that that Tasha doesn't continue on.
Yeah, I mean, to me, honestly,
Yeah.
I like Troy a ton. I just feel like Tasha was more part of like the stuff.
Yeah, she was definitely like involved.
She was always on
in
the
action.
away team and stuff. Like it's such a shame. I mean, I'm like, we're like almost 40 years later, and I'm like, why did this happen? Oh God.
Yeah, you're right, because Troy and Crusher are kind of like
What am I talking
To
about?
the side.
30 years. I can't do math. Like
Yes.
30 years later. Yeah.
There is one neat thing about the aftermath of all this, and that's that Denise Crosby actually became very involved in not only the convention circuit, but in Star Trek fandom following. So, for instance, in the late 1990s, there were not one, but two documentaries. One was a sequel to the other one about Star Trek fans, and she was like the narrator / host of both of them. She has been in a wide collection of Star Trek fan media that she has like willingly contributed to, including like fan films and fan episodes and things like that. So she has gotten very involved with it, and I mean the cast has never forgotten her. She still has a very good connection with all of them.
Oh, that's good. That's comforting, at least a little.
She also got a reputation in sci-fi specifically just for being on the first season of Star Trek. So she did get work because of this.
I mean, that's something.
It just took a while.
It's just...
Yes.
It's such a bummer. I'm going to be thinking about this for a while, honestly.
Yeah. We're sorry. Are you... So... Because I was debating whether I should warn you that something happens in this episode or if I should leave it, like, completely a surprise.
No, surprise always. I hate spoilers.
Okay.
I hate spoilers.
Well, we did give you a hint that something happened.
Yeah, but I never would have gotten that somebody died.
Yeah.
I was really wrong on my prediction, and then until it actually happened, I was guessing other things. So no,
Did you ever think it was possible that it was like a death? No. Like in general?
Nope, not at all.
Nice.
Nope. Because I assumed like almost every episode of this season there's no consequences. They just move on. Nothing happens. So I assumed like they go down, rescue, whatever. I thought it was gonna be like, oh no, Yar has like a scar on her face now from like Armis, but nope, nope, she's dead.
Yeah,
I'm just
dead thanks to a goo pile made of Metamucil.
Yeah.
And
is Metamucil that color?
No, but apparently a lot of the goo was actually made by Metamucil.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it's a mix of a collection of things, but
it's so
yeah,
gross.
supposedly the goo was so heavy and damaging that it disintegrated the suit that the person was underneath of that thing in, and so they had to go in it like multiple times.
Oh God.
The one thing I am really impressed about that they did though was when you have the creepy Riker's face image pop in through the goo, it looks like Riker.
Yeah.
Like it's recognizable as him. And I'm just like, wow, that's a vast improvement over that weird, what do you call it? When Lore was in pieces and it just does not look real at all.
Oh, his Lore's head? Yeah.
Yes.
It doesn't look like Brent Spiner in the slightest.
No, that was fantastic though. But yeah, like it's like I said, the thing that stands out more in this episode is the effects because they're gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
And also terrifying, but yeah.
And the thing is like, if it wasn't for Tasha Yar's death and the way they handled it, I probably would have found the main story like kind of interesting.
Yeah, it is okay.
But they also don't delve into it that deeply because
because they spend more time dealing with Yar at the end and at the beginning.
Because like my understanding is that this pile of goo, it's like some race figured out how to basically drain out everything that was like bad in them.
Yeah, that's a little fantasy.
But like anger, jealousy, all that shit, they found a way to like physically remove it and left it. They just made a big pile of goo of it and fucked off.
Yep.
And left the evil goo behind.
And I don't feel bad for that evil goo because of it.
Because he's literally the embodiment of
goo.
Like,
I mean, he calls himself Skin of Evil.
Yeah.
Hey, that's the name of the episode.
There's an argument to be made that Armis is like the challenging of all of those like great liberal values that the Federation holds dear, and that you can always reach across the aisle and find a way to like peacefully negotiate things, and Armis is a definition of that being impossible. But they don't explore it enough in the end.
No.
Even in the speech off that he and Picard have at the end. Hey, Dory, speech off with Picard. Eh?
I don't remember anything either of them said. I was just mad.
Oh, it's too bad. It was a pretty good speech off.
I have very few notes for this episode. I was very upset.
Oh.
Yeah, it definitely is upsetting, especially like
Yes.
when you've gotten to know Tasha all this time and stuff like that. It's not like, Tasha's not some like random red shirt,
Yeah. One thing I'll say, if we're gonna do positive note side, Deanna Troi looked unbelievably beautiful when she was stuck in that ship. My God, her makeup and just her eyes, she just looked so beautiful. I was like, excuse me.
And the lighting was really working.
Yeah,
for her.
I was like, how dare you look so beautiful after you've crashed to ship? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just like her hair's like very perfectly disheveled and all that.
She just looked like gorgeous, and props to Troy for looking gorgeous in a shuttle crash. I went for a walk this morning and I look like I've been electrocuted, so I could never. Yeah, so that was, I'm happy also Troy got some stuff to do, I guess. I don't know. I'm just happy to see her.
Finally.
Yeah.
I like Troy so much. We just we don't get to see her that much.
Yeah, she does not have a lot to do in the first season.
I hope that changes. I hope she's got
not
lots
at
of
all.
stuff to do in the future, because I really like her.
Uh-oh.
We can't tell you.
She's definitely around and involved
Okay,
more.
good. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's something.
She definitely exists more.
That doesn't make me feel better now. She exists more. Oh, God.
I'm rewatching the series now with you guys, and I'm kind of, discovering stuff I never noticed before, so maybe paying attention this time, it'll be like, oh, yeah, she does actually do stuff.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We shall see.
You know what always gets me with this episode?
What?
Like, the whole funeral thing in general, but specifically that last bit with Data.
Oh yeah, that was good.
That, it breaks my heart.
Yeah, I did point that out, that, Data actually does carry this with him throughout the series.
Yes, he does.
And he even references it once or twice, which is great, because it builds on his character, even if it doesn't really build on his character much in the episode itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I always remember that when he says, I don't think I did this right, because I'm just thinking about myself and how much I'll miss her and how my life will be. And he's like, did I miss the point? And it's like, no, you got it. That's exactly.
Got it, man. You got it. Game over, man.
I mean, really, I don't know where this saying comes from, but it's very true that funerals are for the living.
Yes. You know what really frustrates me about that funeral, though?
What?
The funeral is kind of the embodiment of a major criticism in film and television, which is when they do a tell, don't show. Because so much of what she describes, they don't describe the relationships that we've seen, because we haven't seen enough interaction.
Yeah, when she's like, Riker, you're the best, I was like, bitch, what?
Yeah, why?
When?
Have you guys even been in the same room?
Yeah, that's the thing, is we haven't really seen those things that she describes.
Exactly.
Other than a couple things, like when she talks to Data, it's like we've seen that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like Data, Geordi, Worf, and Wesley,
Yeah.
even, because she does interact with Wesley sometimes. I mean, just even most
Yes, she
recent,
does.
like last episode or something. But like Dr. Crusher and Riker, or even Troy, like the one scene,
They've hardly interacted.
the one scene I can think of is
Yeah.
like, I think it was in the Naked Now when
she was drunk.
Yeah, when she
Yeah.
was like with the scarves.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it.
Really? What about when one is in the penalty box, they have the permission to cry?
And the thing is like, I like this sentiment, but I don't know if this actually happened when Tasha says, well, we never saw Troy teach her this, but I like the sentiment of Troy being like, of Tasha saying like, you taught me that I can be feminine and not like lose anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think we saw it, but
Yeah.
it is a good
Yeah,
sentiment.
we definitely didn't see it, but I do like that sentiment. And I like that Star Trek was thinking about that
Yeah.
at that time. That, you don't... Even though... Yeah, because Tasha isn't like... She's not butch by any means.
No, she's not.
Yeah, but she's still like...
But she's not particularly feminine in her actions either, because femininity is considered like, oh, you're frail, you're sensitive, all these things, and that's not what she usually portrays.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, she's a head of security. She's a badass.
But that's the thing, is
She
like
is.
those Like, the whole point is that those things aren't inherently feminine or masculine.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
yes,
she's not acting like a dude.
Yeah.
She's not, like, being a man. She is a woman who's in a position of authority and, you know, physical strength and responsibility.
So I think she's a good example for, like, people writing screenplays where they want to, like, men who don't know how to write women. Think about Yar. I mean, she's gorgeous, but she, like, that's not what she's about. She just, you don't think about any of that stuff. You just know she's awesome. So, like, you're not thinking about, oh, like, she just is a person. You're not thinking about how much of her is masculine, how much is feminine. It's just she's a human being, just, like, doing whatever. And that, I'm just... So, yeah, it is a good point that she made. I would have also liked to, like, hear somebody say something about her.
Yeah, I would have definitely liked to hear some eulogies.
Yeah,
you know?
because, like, she's saying, I get it why she's doing, like, okay, this is how I feel about you guys. It's her last word, so to speak. But I would have loved to have people be like, Yar, you were awesome. I don't know, just, like, their thoughts about her, because otherwise it just sort of feels like she's telling people what they mean to her, but she's not alive anymore. So what about what she meant to them? That I feel like that's more impactful, because they're the ones who now have to live with her memory. So, like, how does this affect them in their future? And I think we really only got Data for a second, but I really would have liked to know, like, what she meant to them. I feel like that would have been more effective.
Yeah, like, they could have done so much more for her in this episode. They could have scaled down the conflict, the sort of central conflict, and dug deeper in with people's emotions. Like, even if you wanted to still have it happen early in the episode and have it be as senseless and that kind of thing, it's like you could have played into that. You could have played into, like, this amazing woman, like, everyone dealing with, like, this amazing woman we knew. This is how she died. This is what finally took her down. Some random fucking piece of shit on some nothing planet. But, like
the whole episode should have been about her. Instead, we have a huge block in the middle where it's like, meh.
Yeah, quite accurate.
It just... it's such a bummer. And I'm just crushed. I did not think I'd react this way to, like, a death on Star Trek this early in the game.
This was a difficult secret to keep from you.
Yeah, same.
Especially since you were, like, loving Tasha so much. Yeah. Everything in this episode gets overshadowed by how they mishandled her death. Because, like, the rest of the episode, because, like, I'm kind of a little emotionally divorced from it at this point. Like, the funeral still makes me sad and everything like that. But the other bits of this episode are, like, not bad. I kind of like...
Yeah, there's some good dialogue in it, for sure.
Yeah, because I actually really like how Troy kind of does her psychological play with the goo man.
Yeah, I noted that in my notes about how not just the play specifically, but the scenes that she gets with him. That's just Marina Sirtis acting with herself, and it's really impressive.
Yeah,
and like the rest of the cast, when they are acting with Armis, that's them talking to the ground.
Yeah,
and it's convincing, like really convincing. Yeah. So I think they all, especially considering how heavy the episode was weighing on some of the actors, because they knew what was coming. And, I mean, they had all been working with Denise for the last, 7-8 months, whatever. And they were sad to see her go, too. So they knew what was happening there. When Deanna Troi is crying in the funeral scene, for instance, that's Marina Sirtis actually not being able to hold it together. So,
like, I mean, I figured as much.
Yeah. So, like, this is an emotional episode for them all to be shooting as well. And they're nailing it. I think that this is... Not some of the strongest acting that we've had in the whole series. We've definitely had some stronger stuff than this, but the dialogue is so much tighter in it, and they carry it really well. It's just so sad that it gets overshadowed by such a big moment.
And the fact that they basically tried to downplay it.
Yes.
Like, I think,
yes, they definitely did.
Because I think, like, I know I keep harping on this, but it's like you could have done so much with the crew's emotional and mental state with this episode.
What is this, Voyager?
They don't do anything.
Exactly. That's the joke.
Dory, sorry we keep dunking on Voyager.
It's okay.
It's okay, Dory. If we get through this and DS9, then we could go to Voyager, and you will cry over how bored you are.
Wait, is that the Scott Bakula one?
No, that's
No.
that's Enterprise.
Oh, okay. I always forget which one the Scott Bakula one is.
Voyager is the one with
Kate Mulgrew.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the female captain
Okay.
and the Black Vulcan.
I don't know who that person is.
Oh.
I just know Kate Mulgrew.
That's okay. There's an actor named Tim Russ, who you will actually see in the series at one point. Not as a Vulcan, but as a
I
different
just know
character.
Kate Mulgrew from Orange is the New Black.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. This was before
Yeah.
that, obviously.
It's just, Yar deserved better.
Yeah, she definitely did.
They done her dirty.
Yeah. But I think with what ends up happening, I think they kind of make good use of it. They make good use of what happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. At least in the future.
I guess that's something. It just,
Yeah.
it's so fresh. I mean,
Yeah, we literally just watched it.
like before we
Yeah.
started recording this episode.
Dory, did you notice how great the music
It was
score
intense.
was? Holy
yeah,
shit.
the music was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I was commenting to Maggie in the middle of it, and I'm just like, oh my god, they are like ramping up the drama in this,
Yeah, the
and
music
I'm
was
loving
pretty
it.
great.
Yeah, the music's great. Yeah, so just to show a little behind the scenes, we watch an episode and then we record a podcast immediately after. So this is like raw for us.
Yeah, like I'm my face is probably still like I could burst into tears any minute. That's how like recent is like I probably could cry.
I'm really sorry.
No, that's okay. I mean, you
About
don't have
it.
to be sorry about it. I mean, it sucks. I mean, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I think it's very fresh, and I think it's also we were, this is the 4th episode we're recording in one day, so I think it's just like I spent so much time with Yar today only to be like she's dead now, to be like, oh no, wait.
She's dead, Jim.
And we usually only do 3 in a session, but we had to make up an episode. But I think I almost think it's good we're ending on this episode for this session, because I don't know how it would have been if we started a session with this episode.
No, yeah, that would have not been
Yeah.
great. I would have.
Yeah, that would have been pretty heavy
That
for
would
us.
have been really
Yeah.
upsetting. Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
I guess it's good to end with this because then, yeah, I've got the next few days to just cry about it. I'm kidding. I'll be fine.
Well, Dory, I think I know what your opinion on the episode is in the end. It's exactly how Data described Armis. No redeeming
I mean,
qualities.
I would.
And what do you think of it? You think it should be destroyed.
I mean, there's a couple things, like tiny bits I liked, but for the most part, the episode can stay on that planet that Armis is stuck on.
That's fair.
Yeah, I love that Picard was just like, we destroyed the shuttle to make sure like that he can never leave.
Yeah.
Because Armis's whole thing was he wanted to get off the planet because he was abandoned.
Can't anymore, bitch.
Yeah. He's like, live on that planet alone forever. Like, damn.
It's cold, but I agree.
I mean, how do you fight something that's pure evil? Isolate it.
Yeah.
This means that we're okay with banning Nazis from social media.
Always ban
Yes.
Nazis
That's what
from
I'm saying.
social media.
I 100% agree. I guess this is an odd thing to ask about this episode, but does anyone have any favorite moments?
I knew you were about to ask that, and I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
Maggie, ouch.
Okay, I have like 3 small things of note that I liked. Okay, number 1, Troy's eyebrows looked incredible. They looked
Fair.
They were
fair.
perfect. The second thing is I did enjoy Armis calling Data Tin Man.
Oh, yeah.
And then the last thing was when Armis is like, when Data is like has his phaser on Professor Crusher, Jesus, on Dr. Crusher, and he's like, are you scared of? She's like, yeah, I'm scared of she's afraid, and he's like, beg me to like whatever, let you live, and she's just like, no.
Yeah.
She's like, no, not gonna beg. And I was like, yay, Dr. C.
Yeah.
Other than that, no, nothing else. I'd love to pretend this episode doesn't exist. Tasha went on vacation.
Yeah. In terms of favorite, I guess I really liked how they did the funeral scene. Dory, since you mentioned it, I do agree it's a bit of a missed opportunity for... It would have been nice if the crew said things about Tasha, mm-hmm. But in general, I liked the funeral scene, and I especially like what they added on with Data at the end.
I mean, I suppose the reason they had Yar do that is because they wanted to give Denise Crosby just like a little bit more to do in the episode.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is, and I will be upset forever.
Fun fact about that scene, Denise Crosby actually delivered the lines on like a blue screen, and the director noted, yeah, I'm not sure how we got so lucky with her knowing exactly where to look for each character, because we forgot about that when we were lining up the actors.
Oh, doing the eye lines? Yeah.
Yeah, and it just happened to work out well.
I mean, but to be fair though, like if she was making this prior, how would she know where they were standing?
Yes, that too. Supposedly the director had it shot 2 different ways. This was one of the ways that it was shot, and the other one was with her facing directly at the audience, but everyone kind of felt like that was a little uncomfortable and awkward.
Yeah, it usually, like, looking down the barrel of the lens is usually really awkward.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think it also would fit with the tone. It's very
no
breaking the fourth wall, which is like creepy because it's a hologram of a dead person.
Yeah.
Thanks.
My favorite part of the episode is knowing the fact that they got to build another quarter of the shuttle craft set.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. That's not actually my favorite moment. Yep. I actually really, really enjoyed the scenes between Deanna and Armus, especially the first one where she calls him out and he gets angry. I don't remember what the exact line for it was, unfortunately, because, I mean, like I said, the episode is so overshadowed by the one big moment, but I remember the way that she's delivering things in there. Like, she goes from, I'm emotional, things are hard for me, to condescension, like, so well. It's something along the lines of, like, I pity you. Mm-hmm. And she says it almost with spite, and I really loved that.
Yeah, she's like, you have my pity, and that kind of thing. Yeah, like, to kind of deliberately piss him off.
Yeah.
With this somber episode, I guess we'll get on to predictions for the next one. So, our next episode, Dory, is called We'll Always Have Paris. And your little tidbit is that we meet one of Picard's ex-girlfriends. And full disclosure, I barely remember what happens in this episode.
Okay. I have like a few ideas, but I'm not just trying to think of like the history of what I've learned this season of like what would they do, because I've learned what I think is not necessarily what Star Trek's like pattern would do, because they've got their tropes and stuff already. Okay, I'm just gonna throw it out there, really random, probably gonna be 1,000% wrong, but wait, is Earth still exists in this universe, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, have they been there yet?
No, I don't think so. But yeah, okay. Earth is a utopia at this point.
So I'm thinking that maybe they travel to Earth, and Picard, they have some time, and Picard goes to Paris to visit, to just like go back home a little. No, this is the same plot I gave for the Deanna one a bunch of episodes ago. Fuck, no, forget it. Damn it. No, that's not what's going to happen at all. Oh my God. Can I get like a bit more of a hint? A second hint?
Okay. I can't remember anything at the episode, so I'm going to make a prediction. All right. So Picard meets his own girlfriend, or his old girlfriend. It's Minuet. She comes out of the holodeck. Bam. There's your episode. That's the tweet.
I'll give you, okay, here's another hint. We meet his ex-girlfriend, and she's dating another man who's doing weird sci-fi shit.
Okay. Oh, no.
That's about as much as I remember of the episode.
I vaguely remember. That's more than I did remember, but...
I don't know if that's helpful. Okay. You know what? Let me just... My brain stopped working after finished the episode earlier, so okay, let me pull something out of my ass.
Okay, his old girlfriend is Tasha Yar. She's back from the dead. Hey!
Okay, so here's my guess. They they arrive at a new planet we've never been to before. And
starting off strong.
And they meet the scientist guy who's, I don't know, he's relevant to whatever the mission they're doing, and then he invites maybe Picard and maybe Riker, I don't know, some of the people to like dinner, and then they see Picard's ex-girlfriend, and she's like, oh, hello, and then he's like, and she's like, and then they like they talk and stuff, and maybe she puts the moves on him, but he's like, no, my lady is the Enterprise. I don't remember the exact wording from the Big Goodbye episode, but he's like, my lady's the Enterprise or something. But maybe the experiments of this like science guy are not exactly on the up and up. It's a really shitty guess, but that's what I don't even have an ending to my prediction. I'm distraught right now, you guys.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, just as a recap to your prediction, you think that science guy is going to invite Picard and friends down. She's going to be like, oh, hello. And he's going to be like, what? And then she's going to put the moves on him. And he's going to be like, no, I'm dating the Enterprise. And
he's got too much. He's like, I won't be the other man.
Yeah. And then science guy does something shady.
Yeah.
I think that's what
you said,
that right?
Basically. Yeah, we'll go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
All right. So, you guys, I know this was a bummer of the episode, but keep watching along with us and join us next time on the next episode of Fully Functional, a TNG podcast.
Goodbye.